I bet on myself. Yeah, I bet on myself.
Yeah, I bet on myself. Yeah, I bet on myself. I don't need you, I do it myself. Yeah, I bet on myself.
Yeah, I bet on myself.
Yeah, I bet on myself. Okay, dream so big that they think I'm crazy. Let out the beast, no, they can't tame me. Don't play with me, better mind your business. I cannot stop now, I ain't finished. I'ma keep on going till I got that. Okay, the way that I'ma do it, they can't top that. No way. Critics trying to hate, but I don't talk back, I know that. I know the kid with the bull, tell him all that. I'm the one that I'ma gamble.
Welcome to week 14 of For Fantasy's Sake on the For Frequency's Sake podcast network. For Fantasy's Sake is brought to you by Clint's Draft House, and For Frequency's Sake podcast network is brought to you by Durham Remodeling, Rylan Allison Tattoo, and Jared Zook Country Financial. I am today's host, DJ Jarvis, joined today by Dan the Gambling Man Hancock with Gotham Gambling. Somewhere Joe is crying because Carson Beck got injured yesterday, and Georgia is still going to get into the playoff. I mean, he's got to cry about something football every week. So, I mean, there's high hopes for the Bears.
We need like a soundboard with that old like GTA Vice City. Oh shit, here we go again.
Or just we also need anytime something bad happens for Joe's football team, just do the wasted sound from GTA when you jump out of a moving car and get hit by another moving car.
We need the old Price is Right trumpet or trombone.
Oh yeah.
Wah.
There was a lot of that noise in the NFL this week. I think I counted. We've got 5 backup running backs, or guys who started the season as backup running backs starting this week due to injury. We're looking at Zach Charbonnet, Braylon Allen, a mixture of Amir Abdullah and Sincere McCormick in Las Vegas. How do you say the guy in San Francisco's last name?
Which one?
Isaac Guerrero,
I think.
And Gus
Guerrero.
I think maybe, yeah. And then Gus Edwards, and then Ty Chandler's expected to get some run in Minnesota this week, and Travis Homer is expected to have an uptick with both DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson, both nicked up with injuries in Chicago. Does this prove that there's a little bit of credence in zero RB drafters, Danny?
Oh, I mean, I think it does. I think this year it boosts their kind of confidence more than like previous years. But this is mainly because this has probably been the most injury-prone year of running backs. As I just picked up Charbonnet in our staff league just because I had a player on a bye that I have no idea what to do with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at it, even if you think about that, even, with all those starters injured, we've got Derrick Henry, we've got name your Denver running back, Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson, and Brian Robinson all on buys this week. So you got to think there's a lot of contenders starting, one of these 7 guys this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole point of the zero running back strategy is just the fact what we're seeing now is everyone gets hurt. Everyone consistently is getting hurt. Everyone is, running backs is one of the most volatile positions because you're either it's like relief pitching in baseball. You have 1 to 2 guys that you're guaranteed every year. They're going to be studs, and then everyone else, it's in a position of if you're not performing, we have 7 guys on our bench and in the practice squad that are ready for that spot. So it's one of those things where, I mean, like I'm looking now, like if you're in a dynasty league or even for next year in redraft leagues, like Charbonnet might be a handcuff you're going to have to do because Kenneth Walker just can't stay healthy. The problem with McCaffrey is when he's hurt, he's hurt. He's not like, oh, he's going to miss a week with like a hamstring strain. He's like all or nothing. So you got to get his backup and his backup's backup and, the barista at the coffee shop because he might have to play.
How many games did McCaffrey end up playing in between injuries? Like
I
3?
think 2.
2?
Yeah, the Bills was the third one. I think he got 2 full games in, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, so 50 carries for 202 yards and 0 rushing touchdowns this year for McCaffrey.
Yeah, and guess who took his over on receiving yards for future?
So that was the Bills game was his 4th game this season. He started November 10th. He played Tampa, 13 carries for 39 yards. Then against Seattle, 19 for 79, and Green Bay 11 for 31 before 7 for 53.
Yeah, this is you saw it a lot in Carolina where it's just one of those years where he wanted to come back for the play. I think if they were in a better position in their division, I think they would have given him a couple more weeks.
And yeah, they're pretty cooked. Like
that's the thing. Like if this was like, hey, we're number 4 right now in our division, so we might just take the L in this year and let you fully recover. But it's more of a, hey, we kind of needed you back to fully bring our offense back, and it's just one of those years where everyone's hurt. Yeah,
they've definitely not been lucky on the injury front. They re-sign Ayuk, and then he gets hurt partway into the season. Debo has that like freak where he looks like he's about 50 pounds heavier than he actually is.
I'm at the point, like, I just think me personally, like Debo is, if he's the best option available, I'm going for a sleeper or someone a little bit like with a higher ceiling, low value, just because he can put up such great numbers. And this is a weird year for him, but with giving Ayuk the extension this year, they almost were using Debo as just a gadget guy.
Yeah.
Like it was any ball was to Debo or to Ayuk or Jennings, and then it would just be like, oh, here's a jet sweep, here's a 5-yard drag. Like it just felt like they weren't using him in the offense because they know Purdy and Ayuk have that connection.
Well, they almost can't even afford to play him at running back just because, I mean, you think about how many touches that he's had at running back the last few years.
Oh, and that's the thing. Everyone knows if he's in the backfield, he's getting the ball.
Right.
Like it's not like when like the Saints use Taysom Hill and you don't know if it's a pass, it's a run. If he's just there to be a distraction, they just give Debo the ball when he's in the backfield.
That game that Hill had is his great game this year where
like the 3 touchdown game. Yeah.
Fumbled, threw a pick, scored 3 touchdowns, made 2 tackles on special teams,
ran and caught a touchdown pass. Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Like he just happened to be like, he's like that. Like when you get the two-way player in baseball and they get to the pros, it's like, oh yeah, I kind of still know how to pitch. Like,
so it's kind of like back in the day where I don't know if you played a lot of NCAA football. It's like where you created a player on your team and you're like, yeah, he can play wide receiver and free safety. Like it's fine. Like we can play, every snap, Travis Hunter style.
He's who Travis Hunter wants to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel like we want to laugh a lot, but I feel like Taysom Hill ceiling is not a bad place to be.
Problem is it's just not consistent. So like if you keep him in your lineup every week, then you're looking at, 1 week you might get 2 points, the next week you might get 20. So that's the big issue with, like, I think why some people are so hesitant with him is you never know if it's like, hey, today's game plan is we're just going to have Taysom Hill piss off the other team. Or if the game plan is we're going to make him stand there and make you think he's doing something, and then we're going to give the ball to someone else. But at this point, unless you're Alvin Kamara or Marquez Valdez-Scantling, you don't have anyone else on that team, so you might as well just run him every play.
Right. All right, so I got a couple evergreen, naughty or nice questions, and we kind of touched on this, especially with 6 teams on a bye. Are week 14 buys, do you think they belong on the nice list or the naughty list?
Repeat it again.
Week 14 bye weeks, nice list or naughty list?
If you have one, I'm going to say naughty. I think bye week should be done by week 12. I I think when we get this far in the season, if you have a lot of momentum and you have the last bye week, you can lose a lot of that momentum. Yeah, it's great because you get an extra week off late in the season, but I gotta find it. I saw a stat where like most teams with week 14 bye weeks finish the last 3 to 4 weeks like 500 or worse. So it's one of the like teams are when you have that like week 8, week 9 bye, when you hit 13, 14, 15, you're hitting your stride back. And so I think, you got teams like the Ravens who they're in a tough divisional matchup. They're fighting for, seeding right now. What's that week 14 bye going to do for you? It's either going to help you or it's going to kill you.
Right. Well, and you got to think from the fantasy perspective, especially being without all those guys, and you're a lot of leagues you're fighting for either a playoff spot or bye or stuff like that as well.
Yeah, it's one of the I've never been a fan. It's like when like NBA teams get the last 2 weeks of the season, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have a game on Monday and then a game on like they have like 4 or 5 days off. It just messes with everyone's rhythm and it hurts you in the long run.
Right. And then how do you feel about teams who are not in the playoffs working the waiver wire towards the end of the year? I know that somebody had noted that there was on Twitter, somebody had said that they were in a league where there was a team that did not pay attention all year who claimed Isaac, whatever his last name is, on waivers this past week.
Yeah, I saw that. That's great. It's nice. I love it. That's the whole spirit of it, is like, okay, I'm going to be a dick because there's nothing else. There's 2 ways leagues work. It's either the guy that's in last place that's not making the playoffs just said, if there's no punishment, says, hey, I'll sell you my players for the league fee so I don't have to pay it.
Right.
Or it's the guys that said like, when I was, fun story, I was in a league with at one of my old jobs, and I ended up getting laid off mid-season, and I hated my boss. And I looked, and it was week 14. Almost his whole team was on a bye, and he never checks his lineup till Sunday morning. So, and he was fighting for, if he won that week, he was in the playoffs. If not, he was out. So I went and ad dropped every player in the league so he could not pick anyone up, and he got smoked like 200-10.
It's a lot of dedication.
So you know me, I live for the toxicity so that's the whole point. You play with your boys, you be toxic, you piss each other off because it's all in fun. I think it depends. It's one of those either or. If your league has a last place punishment, yeah, you need to work that waiver wire, because if I'm not making the playoffs, I'm not losing the whole league. That's why.
That's where it runs, is like, I think you're kind of like obligated during the span of the year to kind of try to win no matter where you're at. Because somebody's affected by your matchup one way or another, whether you're the last place team playing, say 2 guys are fighting for that last seed and you're the last place team, you kind of owe it to that other guy to kind of try, and then when it comes to the playoffs, if you have that last place punishment, or I'm in a couple of leagues where the team who wins the toilet bowl, they get the last pick of the first round. So they get an additional compensation pick. So if you're playing for something, work that waiver wire.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. If you're a true fantasy football like fanatic nut, or just anyone who is not just like a casual, is just doing it to fill out a league for a friend, like you got to keep playing. Just like you got to put a lineup out every week, just no matter if you're winning or losing. For sure.
All right, let's head to commercial. On the back end, we will play Ultimate Roster. I'm apparently bad at it, so we'll see how we do.
For frequency's sake, has you covered on all things sports. From the squared circle to the hardwood and the gridiron to the speedway, we've got something for everyone. Walk down the aisle with the boys from Cards Subject to Change every Sunday as they take a deep dive into everything pro wrestling. Head on over to the hardwood with Doug Green and Watching the W each week for all the news from the WNBA. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast, where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your gambling fix? We've got you there. Dan Hancock and Gotham Gambling will help you cover the spread with the Golden Ticket Show. Football more your style? Explore the waters of NFL DFS with DFS Deep Dive with Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan each week. More into the science portion of the game? The Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson take you into their science lab and dissect your week in the data lab. Need to know who to start last minute? The network's flagship show, For Fantasy's Sake, is here in a pinch. The fellows come to you live every football Sunday from 10 to 11:30 Central with the week's best DFS, gambling, and lineup advice. And wrap up your Sundays with Joe Winkle and Nick Brinks as they come to you live with educated ignorance, looking at all the day's action. Not enough football on Sunday? Not a problem. Kick your feet up at lunch on Monday and slip into the football lounge with Mark and Dan while they look at the week that was in news, notes, and more. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
Have to get on Doug to do a show here in the near future with the Valkyrie doing their
Yeah, me and him were talking about doing that. So we gotta get a show going.
he texted me right away, when Kate Martin got taken by the Valkyrie. So my two favorite WNBA players are no longer on the same team. Speaking of teams, we got teammates of Rob Gronkowski. Obviously, we know who the quarterback is.
Drew. Yep.
Tim Brady.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
Jacoby Brissett for that 2-week period.
Would he have been still on?
Yeah, because it was the year where he was suspended for like 4 games.
No. So would he have still been on the Bucs when Julio Jones got there?
No, I think he was the year after because they added Julio his last year.
Okay.
And Gronk played 1 and then retired.
But he was on the team with Antonio Brown because
Antonio
Brown was on that Super Bowl team.
Running back.
Fournette?
I would say, yeah.
Or McCoy?
I'd go Shady if you go any of them, but I would say, yeah. No, I'm trying to think of any of
Would he and Kyle Rudolph have been on the same team? I don't think Rudolph was on that Super Bowl team.
We could try it and see what the years were.
Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah, he probably was. Try and we can double back after. I'm trying to think of any of those guys I'm gonna say Moss definitely retired or was off the Patriots before Gronkowski got in.
Was he?
Let's see.
So 10 to 2021. Obviously, Randy Moss wasn't the tight end. Yeah, he was gone. I mean, Mike Evans is probably a good go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been awesome.
1,000-yard season every year of his career, so.
Look at that. They're all even in Buccaneers uniforms. I'm thinking our choices with Moss
did play in 2010 with the Patriots, and then he got traded. I just don't think it was mid-season.
If he played any games, though, he would have been teammates, right? We should do it. I think for the Walls, we're gonna go Aaron Hernandez.
He only played 3 years. That's the thing, though.
Yeah, but
Kate Otten wasn't on that team, was he?
Right. Cameron Brate was there for a long time.
Who was Gronkowski's backup after Hernandez? Because my brain's telling me Austin Hooper, but I don't think that's right because he was in Cleveland then.
I mean, they had a lot of guys. Never Jonnu Smith, though. Never Jonnu Smith.
Yeah. So he's the whatever dude they picked up at Home Depot after a shift.
I say we go Cameron Brate.
Go for it.
Hey,
A+ is across except for tight end.
Kellen Winslow.
Kellen Winslow. So we didn't do half bad. That wasn't bad.
He was doing something else at the Home Depot, not working a shift.
Yeah, man. If we could have done three wide receivers there, we would have had Mike Evans in there.
Right.
That would have been.
That's a
Big
good one.
T's.
First name has to start with the letter D. We're gonna do just like you guys did when it was like the letter J, and just forget some obvious freaking guys.
Yeah. So obviously Drew Brees.
Oh, I was thinking Dak Prescott. So I'm glad you used your brain.
I would say Drew or Dan Marino, but probably Drew. Man, if we could do defense, we could have had DeBrickashaw Ferguson in here. Deshaun Jackson. No, I'm thinking running back. Dante Hightower. D'Angelo Williams.
It's a good one.
It was DE. I don't even think there was an apostrophe. Oh, there was. No,
Nope.
there wasn't in D'Angelo.
Donald Driver.
Fuck is Donald Lee?
That's my first and middle name. He was a tight end for the Packers.
Oh. I was about to say Dexter Fowler, but that's a baseball player. I feel like
there's going to be obvious guys we just.
yeah.
So Donald Driver in there.
Yeah. Let's just see what we got. I can't think of any. Okay, not bad.
Not
bad.
terrible. Nah.
It's every week except National Tight Ends Week. We suck at tight ends. I've noticed that.
Dallas Clark.
Derrick Henry. Oh God, I'm gonna get yelled at by Lydia for that one. That's her favorite player.
Derrick Henry is.
Mm-hmm.
Nuck is one of my.
She switched from a Dolphins to a Ravens fan.
Gross. As you can see, I play this on even days we're not on the show.
Yeah.
This one was basically just trying to remember that. I can't believe I went Carson Wentz over Alex Smith. I was ashamed of myself. I'm glad it doesn't show you the grades I got on these things.
Yeah.
Some of them are bad. All right, let's go to commercial. Then we'll do whatever's next on the shot sheet. Joe's got me flustered.
Serving the Quad Cities area since 1973. And with over 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all of your home improvement projects. This family-owned business has you covered on all your needs. Protect your home or building from the elements today and get great roof repair services. Need new windows? No problem. Durham Remodeling can upgrade your windows and doors. Whether you want to upgrade the little details in your home or office, or want to tear a room down and start fresh, the expert contractors at Durham Remodeling have your back. Even the smallest changes can completely transform your space. Ready to start entertaining your friends for backyard barbecues? Durham Remodeling will help you plan, design, and build your deck and patio for the perfect outdoor space. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 today for your free estimate for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715.
Joe's probably just sitting in front of his TV eating popcorn, waiting for the college football playoff to got his burner account ready.
Then come in here and start yelling. What would he do if all of a sudden Florida State makes it just as a
An homage,
like a refund from last year?
a posthumous spot in the playoff.
You see DJU go against Oregon first round. That's probably why he's not coming on the shows. We're just talking shit about him.
We need to just find that clip from last year and just play that clip from last year. Oh, where did I play that clip from last year where he just kind of stormed off the show? Like he acted like he was okay.
Dude, I felt so bad. I didn't even clip it. I'm still upset about that.
He just acted like he was okay, and then all of a sudden he's like, "It's just such bull crap." Except he didn't say bull crap. All right, let's play a little flex, marry, kill. It's more fun when there's more people to play flex, marry, kill. But we've got Jalen Warren, Isaiah Pacheco, and Travis Etienne.
So I'll flex Warren. I'll do it in order. Flex Warren, marry Pacheco, kill Etienne. Even though this Titans defense looks bad, they're not as bad as they look, and Etienne is going against probably one of the better defensive lines. I was saying it last week on the show. They literally have a 340-pound, like they have the new version of Vince Wilfork on their line. Like no one's running into him. So and the way Mac Jones was kind of flinging the ball last week, I think they're going to stay with that. So I would just kind of kill him off. Pacheco, I think they've you're more of the Chiefs expert than I am, but like they should be giving him some more touches this week. And
you gotta think, especially when it just went so downhill last week.
Yeah, and Warren, it all depends on how Najee's doing, because Warren's key is the passing game. If Najee gets good receiving yards, then Warren's going to be non-existent for majority of the game. But he did play good against Cleveland last time, so
everything just went like all three of these guys are just in terrible backfield situations. You've got Warren kind of splitting touches, and then just who knows what the Chiefs are trying to do at running back. And then you have Etienne situation where they're just, the Jags are just a mess. And I wish I could tell you what they're doing offensively. All righty. Flex, marry, kill. Jawan Jennings, Jerry Jeudy, and Keenan Allen.
Ugh. I'll marry Keenan. I'll put Jeudy in my flex, and I'll kill off Jawan Jennings. I think I'm just done with that Niners team this year, because you don't really know what's going to happen each week. Everything could lead to Jawan Jennings having a great game, and then he gets one target for 4 yards. You pull the clip up. Yelled and rage quit.
Fucking
all right, well, that's gonna.
Alabama needed a fucking miracle to beat Auburn. They fucking beat 4 and 8 Arkansas by 3. They struggled with USF. They fucking
look at you down there.
And
I know.
What other game should I mention that they looked like dog shit in?
Hey, Joe.
I don't give a fuck. What fucking planet do we live in that Alabama fucking deserves to be in the college football playoff? Does the games not fucking matter? Like, what's the fucking point of playing the sport of football if you're gonna have this fucking result? What the fuck, man? Fuck this shit. Are you fucking kidding? How the fuck do we get this? What's the point? It'd be like if the fucking Chiefs went 15-2 and they're like, nah, they're not fucking pretty enough. Don't put them in the playoff. What the fuck? I'm out, man. I'm out.
We love you, Joe. All right. one year later, and it's still not funny.
Oh, it's still relevant. That's the problem.
Oh,
it's a valid argument.
No, it's a super valid argument. Like, I was just trying to get us off the air, and then he just.
I know. I was like, do I clip this for DJ like he asked, or do I be a friend to Joe? Like, that was my problem. But back to the thing. I'll marry Judy, or I'll marry Keenan and I'll flex Judy just because I think Caleb Williams has started to find Keenan Allen a bit more. Like, I've noticed he's gotten a lot more targets in the last couple of weeks, and Judy definitely is worth a look at, but no, even Stefanski doesn't even know what Jameis Winston's going to do play by play. So it's, he could throw it to their sixth best receiver 50 times today, and no one would even be surprised, but no one would be like shocked either. Like, no one would expect it.
I saw something that's like Jerry Judy would call for the ball more, but then Winston would look him dead in his eyes and tell him the exact time and day he was going to die.
God, he needs a job next year. I don't care. He needs to be on some team. Some team needs to keep him.
I think it was Barstool. They just said that the way you just fix this is you just fly him to every primetime game, and he's the backup quarterback for both teams.
All-time quarterback for
Monday Night backup Football. Quarterback. So if their guy gets hurt, that he's just the guy. Or if the starter did get hurt, he's just the guy that's starting. And if both quarterbacks get hurt, he is all-time quarterback. Like,
he doesn't know the playbook. That. He just
he just kind of out there flinging it. Like, you just do it like we're old school. Like, I don't know if you ever did. NCAA football had back in the day, it had a one button mode. So you would just push like square for pass or X for run. And then you would just, everything was X. You would snap it. You would throw it all with X. Like, that's just how it would be. They'd tell them if it was pass or run. No George Pickens today, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. I was wondering about that. That's interesting, especially where the spread's at. But that's what I stayed away from that game just kind of because of that.
That's a healthy inactive, isn't it?
No, he was hurt.
Oh, really?
He was like questionable going into Friday.
Interesting. Yeah. So inactive for George Pickens. That's the first one I've seen so far. All right. And so I will kind of go your route as well. I'll flex Keenan Allen, marry Jerry Judy, and kill Juwan Jennings. I don't hate the Frisco offense, but against Chicago, and then the decrease in talent on the offensive line. Also, P.S. prayers, thoughts and prayers for Trent Williams and his family. That's kind of a really crappy situation for them. So. Flex, Mary, kill, Devonta. I like my Alabama. He won here. Should we replay this Joe clip? Flex, Mary, kill, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Amari Cooper.
Oh, I know Joe and Nick would have would kill me for this one, but I'm gonna marry Waddle. I saw someone say last week that they've never seen a team use their wide receiver one as a decoy for a whole season. And it's essentially what they're doing with Tyreek Hill, because Jonnu Smith and Jalen Waddle have been getting a set majority of the targets. I think the Jets are well aware of how quickly Tyreek Hill can burn them and has burned them in the past. So I think he's going to get a lot more attention. The tight end defense against the tight ends has actually been really good for the Jets this year. So I think it goes to Waddle and HN a lot today. Devontae, I feel like you have to put him in the lineup. If Brown's not 100%, he's going to be in every single snap. He's going to get enough. And while Cooper was a good addition, I just feel like everyone had higher hopes for him than kind of how he's been playing. I don't follow the Bills as wide receivers as much because, as we've said multiple times, that Josh Allen does not know who he's going to throw to every single until he's let the ball out of his hand. Sometimes not even when after he's let the ball out of his hands.
Hey, sometimes he lets the
and
ball out of his
Shakir
hands
it
and
just
he's the one
seems
that
to
catches
like
the touchdown.
Shakir has just turned into his Stephon Diggs, where it's like at any point Shakir is getting 10 targets.
Right. Did we know Raheem Mostert was going to be inactive?
I dropped him like 2 weeks ago
no,
when he put up
for
that like
sure.
1 point game. I just stopped paying attention to him.
Malik-
What's his name? Their third string running back's going to be their RB2 next year.
Yeah. Well, he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This is probably Mostert's, last year in Miami.
I mean, he kind of just found magic in a bottle last year with all the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors is active today, and I think for the first time this year, Kendry Miller's active. So finally got rid of Dennis Allen, and right,
that's gonna be such an ugly game. I don't even want to watch it.
The
Like
Saints
I was
game?
gonna, yeah, I had an eye on Saints like money line or Saints on the spread, but like I can't take a 5 points.
That Saints
with the
Giants,
Saints
right?
team. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a no-go. All right, in Flex, Mary Kill, Roma Dunze, MVS, and Xavier Leggett.
I'm gonna marry MVS and I'm gonna flex Leggett and I'm gonna kill off Odunze, mainly for the reason of one, Keenan Allen is getting more touches. Keenan Allen is as good as Odunze is. Keenan Allen arguably is, historically when you look at all their wide receiver room, is their best overall wide receiver. I think where how it's a lot of quarterbacks, they trust their veterans at the beginning of the season and then they start tapering off towards the rookies towards the end of the year. I think it's the opposite with Caleb Williams. I think with the way their new offensive coordinator is kind of constructing the plays, it's setting up more for him to put more trust in Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, which could affect Odunze. Also, there's a guy named Cole Kmet on that team that everyone forgets is really good. And I've been saying that for 2 years, despite Joe arguing that with me last year until he finally had to agree with me. MVS is getting, like, you wouldn't notice him in the game, and then you look at the stat sheet and he has 8 catches for like 100 yards, or he has 2 catches and 2 touchdowns.
It's two catches, 150 yards. No, MVS goes 2 catches, 201 yard, and 2 touchdowns.
Dude, it's so amazing how like he can not get a single bit of attention and be the star player. Like it's so funny. Like I had the NFL Network's like scorecast thing running at work last week, and they were showing a highlight from the game. They didn't even show his touchdown. They showed the play before his touchdown and just skipped to the next game because they didn't realize he scored the touchdown. And Leggett's been getting he's clearly wide receiver too, but he's been getting a good enough amount of touches. So I think it's more I'm trusting the vets over the rookies today.
MVS's air yards per reception is 39.2.
Yeah, he works perfectly with this offense because Derek Carr does not know how to place a pass. He just knows how to throw it 40 yards downfield.
He has 392 air yards this year and 263 receiving yards. So
yeah, my point exactly. He look at what Derek Carr did to Olave this year. He put him in the hospital twice.
Yeah, I do.
Like he can't place a pass whatsoever. He works. It works when you're open because you can afford to turn your head, but he can't lead a receiver. And the only way he can lead a receiver is if you're going deep downfield. I mean, look at last year.
Lead them.
Think about who their most underrated but overused receiver was. Well, I can't even think of his name, but he got hurt. Rashid Shaheed.
Rashid Shaheed.
Think about how often he was getting 40-yard deep balls.
Right.
It's like Gabe Davis when the Bills are in a primetime game where he's not touching the ball except
or
for
against
it's a 50-yard bomb. Yeah, when it's all the way down to the end of the field, it's like a 40-yard bomb because it's like either they're going to intercept it at the 2 and they start at the 2, or he catches it.
We we used to call those YOLO balls.
Mm-hmm.
or DGAF balls.
Yeah, we just call it fuck it, he's down there.
The original name for Fantasy Sake was actually the YOLO Ball podcast.
Is that oh okay? So that makes sense now with a lot of information I wasn't about to say out loud.
Yeah. Brought to you by Jameis Winston, of course, because that guy. In case you were wondering, your boy Nick Westbrook-Akine has 20 or no, which yeah, he has 23.4 air yards per reception. So
God, he's not even good. That's the best part about it. He's not even good. Like, I've watched his routes. They're not good routes. He doesn't get separation. They just forget he's in the offense and he just happens to be open.
Oh, where was that stat? Here we go. Hold on.
I got one here for you for him. It's I have his route tree.
Yeah, that's kind of so surprisingly he has 260 yards before he catches the ball. I would have expected that to be much lower.
So, you ready for this? He's been targeted 24 times this year. 24 targets this year. He's had 18 targets that have been above a 5-yard pass. 11 of them have been corner, post, or streaks. He's ran one cross route and one screen route this entire season.
You're right. 30... They just it's like that. I don't know if you ever see it on TikTok. It's like that play where Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel are on the sideline telling Johnny Manziel when to run a route. And like that's Nick Westbrook-Akine's entire route tree.
In his last 5 games, 44% of his routes have been go routes and 44% of his targets have been go routes. So they're literally saying, yeah, we know Will Levis has an amazing arm, so we're just going to send someone downfield and let him beat him.
It's fair.
I love it. Imagine you did that when you also had Derrick Henry as your running back, where you would be at.
Or you also had like Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins too.
Coincidentally, that's when Westbrook-Akine started playing good, was right when DeAndre Hopkins left.
Right.
So I'm saying you got to pack the box for Derrick Henry all of a sudden. Akine's wide open down the field, no one near him every other play.
Did Joe send you his Sinister Six for the week?
He did not. Joe has not said anything to me about the Sinister Six in like 3 weeks.
Well, let's head to commercial.
It's just Joe on screen.
I do think there's a case that you could have made for Washington being the higher seed than Michigan.
When you're working to achieve your financial goals, it helps to have some trusted guidance along the way. Jared Zook with Country Financial is here to help you identify your goals and provide more support to work through any changes life may bring. As both a financial advisor of Country Trust Bank and registered representative of Country Capital Management Company, Jared can help you plan for your financial future. As a Country Financial insurance agent, he's prepared to help you with insurance options to protect the people and the things that matter most. Jared is there to support you as you plan for the future and to help you worry less and live more. Jared is licensed to insure in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Kansas, Missouri, and Tennessee. Call Jared today at 217-698-0599 or find him on Facebook at Jared Zook Financial Representative and tell him For Frequency's Sake sent you.
All right, Danny and I are back. We're back. This is just the Joe Winkle.
Joe's gonna quit after this.
The one thing I like about Joe is he can take the abuse.
Yeah.
This one time I was hanging out with Joe. We were watching a pro wrestling pay-per-view, and he tried to open up a bag of Cheetos, and for whatever reason the bag of Cheetos opened from the bottom. and spilled all over him. And I still to this day call him Cheeto Joe. So
Cheeto Joe.
If he can take that abuse, he can definitely take me making him the thanker on my computer.
All right, so I guess it's up to me in my plays today again, huh?
I'm gonna give you solo dolo on the screen. All right.
All right, but
all
right. So today we have 3 official plays. We have a touchdown parlay and a sneaky last-second touchdown play that I absolutely love today. Our first play today is going to be it's going to be the Vikings Falcons under 46.5. Now this line has moved. It's at 45.5 now. I do still like it at 45.5. Main reason for this is simple. Kirk Cousins has not ran the ball all year. He has been atrocious when being blitzed. The Vikings blitz at the highest rate out of any team and have the 4th best rate at getting to the quarterback. So I think this is going to be a game where they're going to be forced to run, do a lot of screen passes. It's not going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be really low. Especially when you put that the Falcons defense has been playing better. They look better. They held Justin Herbert and the Chargers to under 200 yards last week. And when they play zone defense, when he's going against zone defense, Sam Darnold sucks. He's the 2nd worst quarterback in the league against zone defense. He has a 2% touchdown rate against zone this season. So and to add one last point to this one is simply Minnesota has been a home under wagon this year. They're 4-1 to the under. They're going to be 5-1 after today. So take them on the under. Our next play today is going to be Saquon Barkley longest rushing attempt over 19.5 yards. This one I did a little less than a unit. It's about 0.8, 0.75. It's just my preference. Do with it what you want. Barkley has an absolutely amazing matchup today. Carolina is the worst running defense. They've allowed a 20-plus yard run to 7 different running backs this season. Barkley has hit this line in 8 of 12 games. He's had 2 games where his longest run was 19, so 1 more yard or a little better placement of the ball, and he's at this in 10 of 12. They're already projecting this to be a huge run game. His running line is at 115.5. That's the highest line this year. He's had the Panthers have given up a 30-plus yard rush in back-to-back games, including 1 to Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. So I'm going to trust Saquon here to get at least 1 big run off today.
He has I just had this stat coincidentally on my screen. He has 33 rushes of 20 or more yards this year. So
exactly, yeah. So they're going to. This game could be a blowout. I think Carolina is going to attempt to somewhat stay competitive because they've been playing well lately. But if this game stays close, he's going to get more yardage. So I'm going to trust him there. And of course, our anytime touchdown parlay. We've done this parlay 5 weeks in a row where it has been available to us on a Sunday, and it has cashed 5 weeks in a row. And we're going to add a little extra to it, though, this time. So it's Nick Westbrook-Akine, anytime touchdown. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, anytime touchdown, and Jonnu Smith, anytime touchdown. And so I have a perfect breakdown on why. 1, Nick Westbrook-Akine has the 2nd most touchdowns of any receiver this season. He has only had 18 catches in the last 5 weeks, and he's had 24 for the season. 8 touchdowns out of 24 is absolutely insane. The Jaguars have the worst defense. I think now the world knows he's been a touchdown machine this year, but I don't think that's going to stop him. I think Levis is going to have a good game again. He's been playing better. I think he's kind of found his rhythm. I'll trust him again. Valdes-Scantling, mainly because there is no other option outside of Taysom Hill on this Saints team and Alvin Kamara. Giants are going to be focusing on Kamara because they know that is the bread and butter of this offense. Leaving Valdes-Scantling open will probably be a fair amount of time, especially with the fact that Derrick Henry likes to throw it deep and the Giants suck in the secondary. So I'll trust that. And the last one of it, Jonnu Smith is going to be a stretch. The Jets have a great defense for tight ends, but Jonnu Smith has been the most targeted player on the Dolphins since their bye week. So him getting 5-6 touches, at least 1 to 2 red zone targets is not out of the question. I think he can at least get 50 yards today. I think he can at least get 1 target close to the end zone that should be able to go through there. That parlay is plus 1,300. We also round robined it for a quarter of a unit a piece. So the whole thing is 1 unit for the parlay and the 2 out of 3 round robin for it as well. That could get you up to 13 units if it all cashes. So if you put $2.50 on each one, $10 total, you make $130 off of this play. That is where we're at today. We just posted another parlay over on Twitter. It's our parlay of the day for the 1 o'clock games. It's a Dolphins-Panthers same game parlay with a boost on FanDuel. Make sure you guys go check us out on Gotham Gambling on Twitter and check us out on themoneyline.go, one of the best websites for cappers, one of the best marketplaces. Cappers post their bets for free all the time on there. It's the best place to get anything gambling going.
I love how you call them 1 o'clock games.
Well, I am on the East Coast, the superior time zone.
Yeah, but some would argue, your night game doesn't start till 8:20, brother.
Okay, and
I would say ideally, like the time for Sunday, like noon is perfect, but I'd rather live on the West Coast for the night game.
Nah, I think in terms of night game, 7:20 is better.
Nah, hate it.
I think because you can once the game finishes, you could just go straight to bed. Like you're on the only thing with the East Coast is, like if I got work in the morning, I got to go to bed at halftime of the game. But I don't work Monday, so it's not a problem for me.
I'll challenge you to Mountain. Let me get that 6:20, because then I could still go to bed.
Okay. You can watch the games while you're eating lunch, and you're getting like the witching hour right around the time you finish lunch before you take a nap. You can kind of sit through, and then right as dinner, you can grab your dinner, sit down, and watch the kickoff of the football game. So I don't mind that.
Yeah, I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. Here's my challenge for you to put a quick parlay together. Don't even have to bet it. I know you had the one with Westbrook Akina and MVS, but I want a full hyphen parlay. I want a 4-leg Jackson Smith and Jigba, Nick Westbrook Akina, MVS, and Juju. If you can find any Juju props.
Give me 5 minutes. I could probably put one of those together.
Challenge accepted. I'm going to go to commercial. When we get back, I don't know what we're going to talk about since our betting guy sold on us and so did our DFS guy, but we should just say parlay 100 times and Jordan might show up.
My name's Ryan Allison. I've spent over a decade immersed in the art of tattooing. Sharply honing my skills has materialized into a diverse and prestigious body of work. Each tattoo reflects my relentless pursuit of excellence, and every client I work with is a living embodiment of that unwavering commitment. I will gladly and wholeheartedly embrace your distinct vision.
I have one, just so you know. I mean, I've got something together right now.
Do you love everything sports? So do we. That's why we shop at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Atomic has everything you could ever want to blow up your collections. They have sports cards ranging from the 1980s to today, whether it's singles, wax packs, hangers, or boxes. They've got vintage hats, clothes, and collectibles from your favorite teams to widen your collection. Check out Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles today at 102 4th Street West, Milan, Illinois.
So I didn't mean to cut you off there.
That
Atomic commercial reminds me. So we went to Target on Friday night, I want to say, and they had just done a reload of their sports cards. And there's this brand called Allen and Ginter. They're really cool, artistic, like baseball cards, but they just throw like random stuff in there. And in the same pack, my wife pulled Albert Pujols, Usain Bolt, a pulled pork sandwich, and a bee. Yeah. I mean, they're really neat cards.
I got one plus 300.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna take Nick Westbrook Akine, 25 plus receiving yards. Ray McLeod, we forgot about him, 25 plus receiving yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 50 plus receiving yards, and Marquez Valdez Scantling, 2 plus receptions, plus 337 on FanDuel.
I'm impressed.
I'll place it right now. I'll post it.
We when we started the show, we would give our betting guy just random. We wouldn't tell him ahead of the show, but we would give him random like goals for the like bets to do. And whether it was bets or it was a DFS lineup, we did like 1 week where he had to make bets of guys who a parlay of guys who did like surname like suffixes like seniors, juniors, the third, stuff like that. And that was his challenge that week.
I've been doing that with Joe. All my parlays that I've been giving out on here has been Joe telling me what to like. I'll say, Joe, do you want a parlay? Do you want a touchdown bet? Do you want a long shot? What do you want? And he'll give me what to pick. So, and I just checked it. All 4 are projected to go over these lines on Betalytics. So make sure you use my code Gotham on Betalytics.com to get top projections for every single game. I actually looked at it yesterday. They had 36 picks for the college football games in total, including FCS games, and they went 28 for 36.
Nice.
So the only one that I took that they didn't hit was the over in the Texas game. But they called every single thing except for the spread in Texas and the over in that game on all of the FBS games yesterday.
What about Ohio and Miami of Ohio?
Yeah, they called it.
Nice.
Called the under and the cover on the spread.
Nice.
Can you hear that?
What?
It's like a marching band outside my door right now. I
heard drums.
That's the fun thing living in a Dominican neighborhood is like you'll just randomly hear like a marching band walk past, or like great story. Like a month ago, I got home super late and I had a morning shift, so I had to get up at like 3-4 in the morning. And the like Mexican Dominican bar across the street from us decided to hire a mariachi band to play. And so it's like they're blasting like music, and around midnight it turns off. So I'm like, okay, good. I can get like 2 hours of sleep. And then I hear them pull out a microphone and start singing over it. And I did not sleep all night because for about 14 hours straight, there was a mariachi band playing and blasting music throughout the hall. Like you could hear it 5 blocks down, because I would try to go stay at a friend's house that night and you could still hear it.
Just wait till Christmas Eve. I'm sure there'll be a big party there.
Oh yeah, like I'm already getting my like sleep meds in by like 2 p.m. that day. Just gonna knock out the day.
I'll ask you here. I know we have a couple revenge games. Kirko Chains returns to Minnesota. The last line I saw for Cousins, over under 245.5 passing yards for him.
Under. I don't think he's getting the ball out that much today. Do you know how many rushes he has on the season? Like rushing attempts? 2.
You said it earlier, yeah.
2. He has ran the ball twice. When he gets blitzed, he throws it away or he takes the hit. I think they're going to give him all the pressure in the world today. I think this is going to be a decent game for Bijan. I don't see him having a great game today. I wouldn't be shocked if he does have it, but last week could have been a sign of what's to come for the rest of the season for him. So, yeah, I think he might get close. I don't think he goes over, though.
And the other revenge game we have is Calvin Ridley. Over under 65.5 receiving yards against the Jags.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing with the Jaguars is like as bad as their defense is, I'm just like waiting for it to bounce back. You know what I mean? I'll I'll take the over. Why not? A little toxic. Well, it depends on if Calvin really took his own over or not. That's the question. But
we should call Jamison Williams and ask him what he thinks.
Yeah. No, I think that's such a tough line for him because if Okongwu or NWI gets going, Ridley is non-existent.
Well, Chig had that massive touchdown a couple weeks ago.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't this line last game because once Okonkwo and Westbrook Akine started getting going, they just avoided Ridley. I'll say over. Why not? Give me something to root for in this game. I've slowly started to enjoy watching these mediocre teams play because there's always something you never see happen.
Danny's the only guy in the universe that gets excited for Thursday Night Football.
Bro, I will gladly. Bro, listen, I love sports. I do not care what it is. I will gladly sit there and watch Titans Jaguars with a smile on my face. Not just because I'm a Westbrook Akine fan, but just because those are the games that you when you're watching Chiefs Ravens, Chiefs Bills. They don't always go for crazy stuff because there's so much more at risk. When it's teams like Titans Jaguars, that's when you start seeing Will Levis off his back foot 50 yards and 20 feet up in the air. And it's a jump
Will
ball.
Levis memes.
Yeah, you see Mac Jones do some kind of shovel pass or some kind of trick play where Tony Pollard throws it or something like that. You don't see that. You rarely see that kind of stuff in the games where it has playoff implications. This is going to be one of those games they're just playing for fun and for pride. This could either be a 7-3 slugfest or it could be 47-42.
Or yeah, you're right. Let's play a little game here. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna go game by game. I'm gonna pick a prop here for you. All right.
Yeah, I gotta tell you over or under.
Yep. Tyreek Hill 69.5 receiving yards.
Under.
Drake London over under 71.5 receiving yards.
Over.
Bryce Young over under 199.5 passing yards.
I'll go over.
I would agree. I really like the things I've seen from him. I mean,
I think it's the same thing. Someone said, a Panthers insider said it, that he used to be an insider for the Dolphins. And he said, playing in Canales' system is essentially the same thing as playing in Fangio's defense. It takes a while to understand it, but once it does, it's very hard to stop.
Yeah.
If he can put that up against the Chiefs, it's a similar level, probably a little lesser, but a similar level defense. But if they're going to keep, now that he actually has his weapons in, you got to remember when he started at the beginning of the season, his best two targets were Deontay Johnson, who's about to get cut, Xavier Legette, who no one knew what he could do, really. And that was it. And Jatavion Sanders. That was it. And Jalen Coker. You have Thielen back now, so we used to joke that was his safety valve last year, but he had no option but a safety valve. He has options now with their team, and the way Hubbard's been playing, they have more dimensions now. I don't think the next 2 years they're going to be anywhere near a playoff contention, but they've kind of got everything started to figure out. The problem is with them is Gettleman will fire him for no reason. If next year they could go 5-12 and he'll say, "Oh, well, we didn't make the playoffs," and fire him, which is why he needs to sell the team.
One of the commentators made a really good point during the Chiefs matchup is one of the things they really wanted to instill in him during their bye week is guys are not Alabama open in the NFL. You've got to anticipate the throws and where they're going to be open. And that's one of the things they really worked on with him on the bye week is trust your arm, trust what you can do.
It's like when you see college basketball players that play in the weak conference but get drafted, and you got to remember you're not going to be able to hit a step back or a blow by every single player, because this isn't kids playing in college. These are guys who this is their job to stop you.
Right.
Like their livelihood depends on if they can intercept the throw you're making. Give me some more. Come on, we got some time.
Hold on. Somebody sent me a question. Playoffs on the line. Who are you starting? Stafford versus the Bills or Jameis versus the Steelers? I asked him how many points you lose for picks because I'm leaning Jameis.
That's a tough one. I would say, honestly, I would just go chalk and go Stafford. I mean, he has more offensive weapons, and that's the key thing.
Yeah, because I know Cedric Tillman's not playing. Yeah. Last time against Pittsburgh on that Thursday night, he was 18 for 27, 219 yards, 1 rushing touchdown and interception.
Yeah, right. But that was also what? That was his first start, like official start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had all the motivation in the world. Steelers are not going to lose at home.
Right.
Because here's the thing. And they were one of my teams to target earlier in the season or earlier this week because of one simple reason. If they win today, they are going to be 2 games ahead of Baltimore, and they have one of the hardest schedules to end the season. They have to go Eagles, Chiefs, Bengals back to back after this week. The Ravens don't have anyone these next 3 weeks. So the fact that I think the Steelers have the tiebreaker over them, I think.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, so if they win today and they win one more, they can essentially clinch the division in 1-2.
We'll get back to props here in a second. Got to drop a player for my bye week quarterback. Who should I drop? Evan Ingram, Tyrone Tracy, or Najee Harris? My other running backs are Connor, Cook, Jacobs, and Swift, and my starting tight end is Kittle. I'd get rid of Ingram. He's the least likely to hurt you on somebody else's team.
I wouldn't. I don't know, because Mac Jones likes throwing to tight ends.
Yeah,
that's
but
the problem.
I just don't think he hurts them on somebody else's team. Like, I think that.
Yeah, but over what? Like, not like if you drop Tyrone Tracy, you're not losing anything. That's the thing. Like, I'm thinking of it like, I don't know if he's thinking in terms of if someone picks him up, because the thing
that's how I'm judging it.
Because here's the thing: if he drops him right now, they can't pick it up till next week.
Right.
Looking at his running backs, unless it's like a 5 flex league, you're not starting Tyrone Tracy when you have James Conner, James Cook, and Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Swift.
Right, like you said,
you're able to put Ingram in a flex spot and get a couple of points. So I would say drop Tracy. And to answer his next question, right here, I'm gonna stop clicking and let you do it. Here's my hot take of the day. Will Levis is going to be a top 5 quarterback this week.
Interesting.
Not just because of my Westbrook-Akine fanboying. He has been great, and this is a horrible defense that crushed him last year. He's going to want to have some kind of revenge game, if you want to call it that. But I would drop him, and I would pick up Levis. Even to answer his question of, yeah, and if you have Ridley, perfect.
Yeah, double dip.
You can pair them. Yeah.
Oh.
If with Tyrone Tracy, let me look. I got you. Give me 1 second. I'm borderline mentally disabled. Give me a sec.
I've got it pulled up. The schedule.
They have the Ravens, Falcons, Colts, and Eagles. 2 of the top 5 rushing defenses in the next 2 weeks. 3 teams that blitz the shit out of the ball. So he's not going to get it anyway. And when he does, they're going to be in the backfield. The only other team that's bad against run defenses that they're playing in the next 4 weeks is also worse against pass defenses. So they're essentially right now, they're done. They know Tyrone Tracy is their running back next year. They're not worried about him. They're trying to figure out who's going to be their quarterback and who's going to be their wide receivers next year. So in my opinion, Drew Lock is one. They know Drew Lock can throw. We've seen it before. It's Dable's system that sucks. So Drew, they're going to be testing to see. I think they're going to be testing this week to see if Drew Lock is actually going to be worth trying to keep for next year. And he's going to be auditioning for a team for the rest of the season. So I think you're safest dropping Tyrone Tracy, because even with Harris on your team, you have 5 running backs that you can switch through, and at least 2 of them have a bottom 15 matchup in the next 2 weeks.
Like you said, though, too, is nobody else can pick him up. So you could easily pick up Levis, drop Tracy, and then immediately put in a waiver claim picking up Tracy. And
exactly, yeah. And even if not, like, you can easily drop Levis back, and you can look at like a wide receiver or even a tight end that is trending.
Yep. Veron wants to know Ray McLeod or Amir Abdullah.
I'll go McLeod just because I know I've spent this whole time shit talking Kirk Cousins against his former team, but McLeod is you're in a position where it's if you get McLeod, your ceiling is maybe 10 points, but it's going to be like 2 catches for 40 yards, or plus he's their return guy. So if he returns one for a touchdown, you're getting extra points there.
I don't know that I like. I'd be worried with Abdullah just because Pierce came out and said that they're going to give McCormick more work. So
not just that, because the thing is, every time Pierce has done something like that and that player has sucked, he's just reverted back to his original plan. But if you saw them last week with Aiden O'Connell at quarterback, their passing game didn't look bad.
No,
like it didn't look great, but it didn't look bad. And Aiden O'Connell is their quarterback of the future. They're going to want to get him more reps, especially when you have Bowers against a team who is the 3rd worst against tight ends and one of the worst pass defenses in football in Tampa. You're probably going to be behind. This could be a trap game for Tampa too. I would stay away from Abdullah, because if you have Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers out there, like they're not using a run game and they don't have a running back.
Rampage wants to know Jacoby Myers or Jerry Jeudy. I'm going Myers.
Yeah, I just answered that question right there.
Yeah. I mean, Myers, since they traded, Devonta has been awesome.
Yeah. And the only thing that hurts you is if Brock Bowers has another game for 15 catches and 200
but they
yards.
still get the ball in Myers' hands so many different ways.
Yeah. As long as it's not last minute situation where he's got to throw the ball, or he's got to do a fumble rooski, then yeah, because he'll just throw it to the wrong team.
Dude, the Raiders bear at any point.
I know it would never happen, but could you imagine the amazingness if let's say somehow Jacoby Myers was on when they put the guy in for the last second on cornerback detail.
Yeah.
And he's in there, he's trying to return it back. And they're playing the Jaguars. He tries to do the fumble rooski, throws it to Mac Jones.
Next one we've got is Rampage wants to know Kyler or Herbert. Dude, the Chiefs have been have not been doing great defensively, but I still have to.
But you got to think for Herbert, this is a division rivalry game after you just got shut down for less than 200 yards the week before.
No, I agree. I go Kyler.
I would say Kyler because you also get the running aspect more.
Yeah.
Unless Geno Smith hasn't really sold me on anything this year, unless Arizona or Seattle goes up by 30, I would take him, because I think this Sunday night football game is going to be a chess match. You have 2 great minds in Harbaugh and Reed. I think they're going to be they're not going to care as much about stats as they are about winning the game. So versus they want to get Kyler going as much as possible.
So somebody flew a banner over MetLife Stadium and says, "Mr. Mara, enough. Please fix this dumpster fire." Rampage also wants to know in his flex, Chuba or Marvin Harrison Jr.
If you're going Kyler, if you go Kyler, go MHJ.
Agreed.
If not,
provided that's the same league.
Yeah. I would. The thing is MHJ's problem is there's a player named Trey McBride on his team.
Who still hasn't caught a touchdown?
Yeah, but Trey McBride gets 15 targets a game. If it's in the same league with you of Kyler, I would take MHJ and just pair it. If not, honestly, Chuba might be the option because Chuba's getting 30 touches a game. They're gonna do the Saquon Barkley. They're gonna try to wear down the defense.
Blown out.
I don't know. Like there's a trend. So I'll say this. There's a trend I found. It was on my I know you didn't read it. It was on my article I posted from Substack. If you guys want to check it out from Moneyline Go, we do a weekly trend analysis of the best trends for NFL Sunday so that you can get bets in early. One of them was in the last 5 years, teams that were plus 2 touchdown spread. They were plus 13 or higher in week 14 or later in the last 5 years. They have covered, the underdog has covered 81% of those games. Look at last week. The Panthers were like plus 13, right, against the Chiefs. And the game went down to the wire. This with the Eagles having, it's the same thing we saw with the Steelers when they played the Browns right before playing the Bengals. The Eagles have the Steelers next week. This is a look ahead spot. They're not going to be as focused. And I think Bryce Young, I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not going to say it might be close, but I'm saying it's going to be within a 10-point game, in my opinion.
I like that take. All right, let's go to commercial. We'll finish out our games with our over-unders. We'll answer any more questions that come in, and we'll go home.
I'm already home.
Yeah, I know.
Jinx.
Yeah. View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football. Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and Twitter, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
All righty, let me find the screen I was on. The last one we talked about was Bryce Young, right?
I just saw the photo you sent. Joe had hair. So cute.
I know, dude. I kind of like forgot that Joe had hair.
You know how funny it is? I look at my license photo. It's got hair and no beard. Like...
Apparently, I totally forgot where I was at.
How could you? Come on, man. Oh, Rampage has McBride too. So yeah, if you want to go with if you want to go like all in with it, then go in all in with the Cardinals players. But if you already got McBride, then you might want to go Chuba. It's one of those either or. Either it's going to be MHJ for 20 catches or it's going to be McBride.
All right, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, over under 34.5 yards.
I'll say over because even if they're not going deep ball, they target him a lot.
Travis Etienne, over under 38.5 rushing yards.
Under.
Interesting. Brock Bowers, over under 75.5 receiving yards.
I'll go over.
Oh, come on. Where are you at? Jameis Winston, over under 22.5 completions.
I'll go over for that. He's gonna just fire.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, over under 69.5 receiving yards.
I'll say over.
I love his name. Just fun to say.
Mine Jigba.
Josh Allen, over or under 1 touchdown catch. No, I'm just kidding. Puka Nakua, over or under 80.5 receiving yards.
God, that's tough.
That is a tough line.
The thing is, he's taken over this year as the main guy. That's the thing. I'll say yes because when it's late, they just run him on drag routes.
They do.
They do like the Amon-Ra, where it's like if they can't get him open, they're gonna force like a quick play.
Yeah, and they do like the out and in or the in and out, whatever, the little whatever that's called.
Yeah. I mean, it works because like who are you gonna guard? Like you can't let Kupp get any separation, and Puka just is so quick.
Yeah, agreed. Over under 79.5 rushing yards for Isaac, that guy from San Francisco.
I'll go under because the Bears have a good run defense.
Over under 61.5 receiving yards for Ladd McConkey. That one's not really a fair one because he might not play, but
if he does play, I'll go over.
Here we go. Over under 26.5 receiving yards for Noah Gray.
I'm going to go under. I think if we get a backup today, it's going to be Watson.
And over under 24.5 receiving yards for Brandon Cooks.
I'm going to go under, and I'm going to give you a hot take. Bengals win by 10. You ready for this one? Also from my thing. In the Mike McCarthy era, the Cowboys have been underdogs at home 6 times. Do you know what their cover on the spread is?
What is it?
1-5. Do you know how much on average they've gotten beaten by in those games? 27.
I saw a stat.
Them at -5.5. That's closer to 6.5 now. But also, I might do a little ladder, do 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, all the way up to 10.
Ooh.
Let me see what me see what that's at. Let my degenerate ass see what it's at.
I saw a pre-Thanksgiving statistic that they had led at home for like 9 minutes or 3 minutes over their last several home games, and they had trailed by 20 or more for like 170 minutes.
They're the only team that hasn't scored 20 at home this year, I think. Unless that's switched since the last time I saw that stat.
What's crazy is Arizona State has more touchdowns at AT&T Stadium this year than.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, you can get -9.5 at +160 right now. So I might do sprinkle a little bit of money on it.
Sprinkle?
A little sprinkle.
What game are you most looking forward to today, other than Jacksonville?
Titans Jaguars.
No, you can't say that one. I'm taking that one away.
Honestly, I'll say Panthers Eagles because this is a test for Bryce Young that it's not just a 1 week thing. He could do it every week.
Put three good weeks together.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, not just that. It's you had a great week against arguably the best defense in football and one of the best quarterbacks ever. You had a great week against a rival, which was always big. And then now you have a third week in a row where you're playing another top 10 defense that has every motivation in the world to not try, but to also try. If that makes sense. Like this is where they prove like, okay, we're not just going to go lazy. We're going to smoke this team.
I don't like how they put out the thing.
I'll also say this. I think highest scoring game today will be Buffalo LA. I think we see 50 plus points in that one.
Hopefully the Rams winning.
Yeah. That's what I might have to start doing on the show is bring you like those crazy, like this game will go to overtime. This game will end on a game-winning field goal, stuff like that.
To be fair. They basically just verified that that Alabama's out. Where's somewhere Joe is celebrating?
Where's Florida State?
Florida State should be in.
We need DJU.
Give me Jordan Travis on one leg. Everybody's gonna watch that. I don't like.
You heard the news, right? DJU is threatened to play another year.
Who would want him?
I think he's going back to Florida State.
No,
he's got one more year of eligibility.
Love that for them.
They lost all their recruits. They might as well keep with them.
I love that for them.
But I'll add one more play in here before we go. I mentioned to you before the show, this is a personal play. This is not an official play. So if it loses and you don't see it on my tracking, you can bite me. We're going to take – you can get the Steelers defense at plus 500 for a touchdown today. Like we said earlier, Jameis Winston throws too many picks. This is a perfect spot to get a defense or a special teams touchdown. And for all you guys listening, if you guys hit some kind of crazy parlay today, tag FFSQC on Twitter or tag me at Gotham Gambling, and we'll make sure we feature you guys in our betting newsletter this week.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good idea. And also, if you started like 9 backup running backs, I want to know about that.
Yeah, your Rampage, Jacob, if you guys are still listening, if you guys get a crazy win this week, make sure you guys tag us and we'll repost it.
Somewhere Lydia's like, I'm going to beat Dan.
I'm playing you this week.
Which league?
The staff league, because that's why I picked up Charbonnet last minute, because I was just going to let my bye week mix-in go through.
Did I even set my lineup?
I don't know. All I know is I forgot to set my lineup again, like I did on Thanksgiving. Except this time, all my Packers Lions players played good, and I'm up like 50 points.
Yeah, Jaden Reed put up a 0.
Yeah, I had Christian Watson, Montgomery, and Goff.
Terrible.
All right, so who you got QB1? Why did they do 6-4?
Because they're stupid.
In the show with this fading out. Brian's like so stoic through this. Like he's just watching Joe. He's not even reacting.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, man. That was tough. They had a hell of a season.
Now you get to be like me when they win their bowl and Alabama or Texas wins the national champion and just claim the national title.
Whatever bowl game they got, I'm taking them on the spread. Like that they're improving something.
Their defense looked really good last night.
Yeah, they did. Damn, man.
Joe went through all the lines of Joe deleting tweets. No, I'm sorry, brother.
That sucks, man.
I had envisioned that if they didn't get in, I'd have this crazy reaction.
Just have a shower. Shower beers make it. That's what I. That's what.
So, Joe, I'm assuming your first Sinister 6 of the new year will be Michigan covering the spread, correct?
No, Bama could beat them. Bama's probably going to win it all.
Joe was 0-for-2 on
Texas.
that one.
Well, man, I don't know.
Is this you coping?
No.
Yeah, he was definitely coping.
It's how it works.
If it makes you feel better, I think that
it
the final
took 30 seconds after this and he blew up.
Michigan, Florida State, Washington, and Liberty. And when I tried to shut down the show.
What a fucking
Jay, that was terrible.
Yeah, you win all your games. You deserve to be in.
Why do you play the games, man?
You play to win the game.
I guess.
Who did Nick Saban pay off this time?
If
Here's the thing, though, would he have felt better if they would have?
It's just like living in the South. There's way too much SEC bias.
It's
fuck
setting,
the
Yeah.
SEC.
Mhm.
Fuck college football.
it's setting up the Final Fours of the future: 2 Big Ten teams and 2 SEC teams.
I don't think he would have been. He would have
Exactly.
been
What a fuck-
disappointed
And there'll
in
be-
losing.
There'll be
But-
20 teams and 8.
I don't think he would have been as mad. But I think he would have been upset if they got smoked by Michigan in the first round by like 30
Yeah,
because they didn't have a court. Because I think that's when everyone that was like bitching about it shut up, was when Georgia smoked them. And it was like, oh, okay, like this could have been way worse if we were in the playoffs doing this.
here goes. Here goes.
That's our.
They left out a team that won 13-0. They beat LSU's ass week 1. Like the game wasn't fucking
For
competitive
a
in the
team
second
that
half.
Texas beat by like 20.
Fucking
All right,
incredible.
well, that's gonna.
Alabama needed a fucking miracle.
Oh boy,
Oh, Joe's gonna rewatch this and get so.
I would feel really bad if like there's a reason Joe's not on the show that's beyond the fact that he just.
Yeah.
So they're going down to the final team. Who gets in? SMU or Alabama?
They're gonna give it to Bama, but it should be SMU. Bama has not played good enough this year to deserve a spot.
5-1 against teams over 500, and SMU 5-2. But you just can't lose to Oklahoma that way.
That's the thing, is SMU's losses haven't been as bad as Alabama's.
Right.
But it's Alabama, so they're gonna give it to them.
I mean, they beat Georgia.
Yeah, but you beat Georgia, and then in a must-win game that everyone knew was must-win, you lose by what, like 20, 30?
Yeah, that was bad.
There's no right answer here, but there are downsides.
Wait, who's all? So it's what? Oregon won, right?
Yeah, Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4, Notre Dame 5, Ohio State 6, Tennessee 7, Indiana 8, Boise State 9.
Boise State should be higher. They smoked everyone this year.
They're SMU.
Told you.
Wow.
You know what? If they didn't have that comeback in the fourth quarter, it would have went to Alabama.
For sure, yeah. They were
That's
getting
the
chipped.
thing, because it was like what, 34-10, and they
Yeah.
scored 3 touchdowns.
And so now we'll do the first team out, which we all presume to be Alabama. Alabama is the first team out, and the second team out, I assume, will be Miami again. And it is.
It's Florida State.
Yeah. All right. Well, we don't have any last second questions. Danny, are you watching the Red Zone channel today?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, for Danny, I'm Deej. Check out Danny's Twitter feed for his bets for today. I'm sure we'll be talking shit about things in Slack, and everybody will celebrate when Nick Westbrook-Akine scores.
It's just funny at this point, because we don't even celebrate. We're just like, no way, it happened again.
It's definitely a bit. Oh, we got a question from Juan Pena Jr.
Oh, we're setting his lineup again this week.
Jacoby Myers.
Go. Fuck it. Go all in. Westbrook-Akine, Charbonnet, MVS.
I'd say
Go
Myers.
balls to the wall. This is the week. This is the week to go balls to the wall, or it's the week it's gonna miss horribly.
I'm gonna say Myers, Westbrook-Akine, and Charbonnet.
Yeah, Charbonnet. Yeah, that's probably the best option. Either, if honestly, you could take Westbrook-Akine out and put MVS, and it'll be similar results. The difference is just long ball versus, like it's the ceiling is higher, because Westbrook-Akine won't see the ball outside of a touchdown pass.
That's my question. Is you got to know, like with it's either MVS. It's probably.
It could be Darnell Mooney. I mean, that he's secretly been Kirk Cousins' favorite target.
Yeah, it's probably Mooney, but it's more fun to go MVS or
if you're more safe, if you're up enough that you could be comfortable enough to risk Westbrook Ikeda or MVS, do that.
Yep.
If it's like you need guaranteed production, then you're looking at Mooney or Worthy at that point.
I agree. Also, click on my TikTok link and earn me $2. All right, we are out for week 14. We'll be back next week. Hopefully with Joe, maybe not. Who knows? But Joe will be here tonight. We'll also have card subject to change on at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Is it standard right now? Standard time. So good luck with your matchups. Enjoy Scott Hansen on the Red Zone channel. We might only have a few weeks of him left. So we're out.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.